I'm here with Tim Bratz, one of my new mentors, and he's about to teach me a back of the napkin business plan. So for those of you out there that think that business plans have to be like, you know, in like a perfect setup, computer, all that, no. Let's watch the magic happen.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna structure a deal. We're talking about the impetus of this was Juan Carlos is like, hey, you know, I can't afford not to spend the money on marketing. I can't afford not to spend the money on a mastermind. Like people are like, oh, well, like, I can't afford it. He's like, I can't afford not to do it because of the connections and because of the resources and because of the insights that I get from being in those groups. And I was like, dude, here's exactly how you pay for a liability, right?
Yep.
We're talking about, we just filmed an episode of Spill the Beans, and we talk about these condo deals that you have for $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 that are oceanfront in
Yep.
Puerto Rico that you can rent on Airbnb and absolutely kill it with, right? So let's say you got you said one of them was $180,000, right?
Yep.
So you got 180K purchase price.
Yep.
What are the closing costs typically?
I would say about
Like 1%?
1%.
Half a percent?
Yeah.
Is it like 10
Call it-
grand, 20 grand?
Yeah. Call it 10 grand.
Yeah, I think it'd be 10 for the acquisition. So 10K of closing costs. And then, dude, I would take a $10,000 acquisition fee.
Yep.
You know, on a $200,000 total deal, 10 grand's, 5%.
Yep.
That's less than what a realtor would make,
Yep.
right? And so you can go there, you structure the entire deal, you put the financing together, everything. You're all in, and you raise $200,000. Total raise
Yep.
/ all in, right? I would bring it, you could probably find one person to just write the check for all $200,000.
Yep.
Or you can bring in 4 people, or you can bring in 2 people at $100,000. Let's say you got 2 people at $100,000. Here's how I would structure it with them. I'd say 100K investment gets you, make money typically, 3, 4, 5 ways? Let me think. I'd pay a pref,
Yep.
means a preferred return, somewhere around what the bank rate would be. So let's call it 4%.
Yeah.
Okay? Doesn't get anybody too excited, but it beats the shit out of
Savings.
the savings account, beats the shit out of a certificate of deposit. Chances are it's going to beat the volatility in the stock market and
Yep.
in crypto, right?
Yep.
Crypto dropped by 40% in the past few months. So this is a predictable, fixed 4% annual return on their money. I'd tell them their money is going to be in for 3 to 5 years before you refinance and give them back. At the end of that 3 to 5 years, you refinance.
Yep.
They get all 100 grand back,
Yep.
but they maintain 10% equity forever
Yep.
in perpetuity. That 10% equity means they get 10% of cash flows above and beyond whatever the bank note is. So, let's say you bring in $50,000 a year in total Airbnb revenue.
Yep.
You're going to pay all the operating expenses, you're going to pay all the debt service to the bank, and then you're left with, let's call it 20 grand a year
Yep.
or something, right? At 20 grand a year, they get 10% of that, so they get about $2,000 a year on an investment they don't have any money into anymore, right? So that's beautiful. Then they get 10% of the equity that's in the deal.
Yep.
This $200,000 deal, let's say you refinance it, now it's worth $250,000, right? You put a new loan on of just $200,000, that means there's $50,000 of equity. They're entitled to about $5,000
Yep.
of that equity that's in the deal,
Yep.
right? And that equity continues to grow.
Yeah.
Every month you make a mortgage payment and pay down the principal, that equity grows. Every year or month that you bump up the rental rates, and so all of a sudden there's a spread on equity,
Yep.
and
Because
eventually
they have no more money on the deal anymore.
exactly.
So it's like
so
infinite
that,
return.
so that continue exactly infinite returns. Then they get 10% of the depreciation,
Oh yeah.
which offsets a lot of those cash flows.
Yep.
And actually, you said if you're an American investor and you bring money to a a deal in Puerto Rico,
I can send you a depreciation form. Like,
not only do you get depreciation, but you said because of the tax incentives, there's some sort of like lower tax rate too, right?
Yeah.
So like that's a huge benefit. And then I would give them 1 free month at the property in the off season.
No brainer. Yeah.
Dude.
Easy to do.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean a whole month. If you say that, what would that rent for? That $200,000 condo?
We make about
$100 a night?
No more. We make about $5,000 a month on that.
Holy shit, dude! That's a $5,000 value on top of the 4% return. So it's the real value is essentially about 9 or 10% annually
Yep.
on their money while it's invested. After a few years, they get that money back. They
Yep.
still own 10% of the condo forever and get 1 free month per year. Dude, it's like owning a timeshare without all the shitty elements of a timeshare and having all the upside
Yep.
of an investment property with free access to the property. Maybe they just pay for like their cleaning fee.
Yep.
Is all I make them pay for. But realistically, dude, they get free off-season time there. They can leave, they can come down, they can use it all at once, or 2 weeks at a time, or 1 week at a time, or whatever they want to do. And that allows them to have an investment property, have a vacation home that actually pays them, that they also don't have to manage or
That's
operate.
Huge. That's huge. Yeah.
So that would be how I'd structure it. Would be pay the preferred return.
Yep.
Then they get 10% of cash flows, 10% of equity, 10% of depreciation, and a free month at the property. Get all their money back in a year, and they still maintain all the ownership and the free month of the property forever, even after they got their 100K
So you're
back.
saying this is the way that somebody could like have a beach house and have somebody else take care of it, and eventually like not even have any money into it, make money, get to use it, and actually get that beach house.
Well, yeah, dude, absolutely. Think about if you went and bought this condo yourself, right? If I'm Tim Bratz and I live in South Carolina and I want a second home in Puerto Rico, I got to buy it.
Yep.
I'm paying HOA dues.
Yep.
I'm paying utilities on it. I'm paying the note on it. Or I have to hire a management company. I have to actively manage the management company, right? This is a way that somebody can come in on one of these deals, not have to manage it. Not only do they have ownership in this property, but it's paying them instead of them outlaying cash on a monthly basis. You know what I mean?
And the best thing of all this strategy is the challenge to get started in Airbnb in particular is that there's laws involved, there's HOAs, all these things people don't understand. You can't just go buy a property and say, oh, I'm going to turn it into Airbnb, because if you do that and then you find out later on, like, hey, it's not allowed, what are you going to do now?
Yep.
Right? So I've already figured all that out. I make sure that it's totally legal. So if let's say it's a condominium, I'll read the bylaws.
Yep.
I make sure it says you can rent for a night, for a minimum of 1 night.
Yep.
Boom. And I know that's there. I'm already there. If I know that they're going to change that or whatever, we can get out of the property.
Love it.
Or do that. If it's a house, I make sure that I check the restrictive covenants on that neighborhood.
It's so important.
And then I make sure that the legal part, I can't, I'm not going to get anybody to come in to, say you can't do that. I'm also a real estate broker in Puerto Rico, which has happened to me. They've said, hey, why are you like Airbnb? You can't do that. You have to be a broker. I'm a broker already, bro.
Yeah.
So all those legal aspects
Yeah.
are taken care of. And then I already have the place furnished. It's already cash flowing. If you want to know how much it's making, I can just pull a transaction report, send it to you. If you got to look at my bank, I'm happy to show you that too. So this is a no-brainer. It's essentially like taking advantage of all the hard work that somebody else has done and basically enabling like that person to continue to do it more and more.
Dude, and they're secured by a mortgage the same way that a bank would be secured by a mortgage, right? Even if you
Identical.
took two different, if it's one person, that's nice and easy, but even if it's two people,
Yep.
you just bring them both, you put them both on the mortgage
That's it.
at $100,000 a piece,
Yep.
or you can do a first lien and a second lien if you wanted to, but they're secured with a mortgage, with a promissory note, and as an additional insured on the insurance in case a storm does come through
Yep.
and blows it over,
Yep.
creates an issue, or a
Yep.
slip and fall or something like that happens.
Yep.
They're insured on the property and they get their $100,000 back right out of the gate, dude. So this is exactly what I would do, man. Structure your deals. And then if you had
My mind is blown, by the way.
and then if you had a house,
Yep.
all right, let's say you bought a house for $1 million. I would say, let's get the seller to seller finance it at $800,000, 80%, so
Right.
$800,000, and then I would just bring in the $200,000 from
An investor too,
partners,
do the same thing.
and then do the exact same thing.
The only difference is on the house, we're gonna make a lot more money.
That's it. And you're leveraged, right?
Yeah.
Because you have, you're bringing in all investor cash to buy this with cash, which is a benefit because you can come in and get a better deal on the acquisition. But a big benefit in financing it and having seller financing on it, which means that you're going to pay them a return on their investment or a return on.
But I gotta
the
pay
financing.
somebody, right? I gotta pay the bank, or I gotta pay the guy, the owner.
But
so.
instead, you don't have to give up a bunch of equity to them for bringing 80% of the money.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's much more
I love it.
advantageous to
Freaking
you
love it.
and the investors if you do have financing on something.
Yeah.
And then they would be secured in that scenario with ownership in the LLC that owns that property.
Today I was looking into Miami too, because I also wanted to look at other properties, at other areas to branch out.
Yep.
And I went on the internet. I looked for seller financing, Airbnb. I literally went on Zillow, which I think people think is a mistake. I was like, it's a low hanging fruit.
Dude, I found all my deals off of Zillow.
So I went to Zillow.
All my single family high-end rentals anyway.
So I went to Zillow. I looked at the bottom of the filter. It says put your keywords. I put seller financing, and I also put Airbnb. And I was like, dude, I can do this easily in Miami. I can get a $1 million house, $5 million house in Miami. I already have my loan, which is a seller. I understand this because I've watched already your presentations.
Yep.
And I'm like, what am I missing here? Shit, I think it's doable.
It's just the management element. When do you think what does your team look like, by the way?
I have
for management side of things.
So I read the E-Myth book.
Yeah.
And I started reading Traction a little bit. So I have a general manager who's actually my big sister. She's a freaking badass. Right? She's like a ninja. Okay.
Yeah.
So I should call her Ninja Morales. Her name is Christina. She's amazing. So my sister's general manager. Then we have assistant general manager. Her name is Lisbeth. She used to be my cleaner. And I told her, hey, one day I'm gonna make you an assistant.
That's awesome.
And I did. And then we have supervisors, we have a handyman, we have cleaners. We have 13 people working in the business.
Love it.
So-
and you have about 30 properties?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we made last year, not bragging, but just so you see what's possible. I remember one day I wanted to make $10,000 a month. I said, man, if I can make 10,000, I don't have to work.
you're set.
One day I hit that a few months after I said it. Today we make 150,000 a month. We made 1.2 last year.
That's awesome.
But I could have never dreamt of that. I just can't even believe it. As I'm saying it, I can't even believe it. But the point of that is that sometimes you set yourself up and you do a lot of little things, and you don't know, and all of a sudden it explodes.
That's the thing, dude. You do all the little stuff. You don't see the growth. You don't see the wins. You don't see the actual momentum building, but it's under the surface, man. And then all of a sudden, when it hits, abundance comes, and you're like, man, I couldn't stop this wave of momentum even if I tried.
Right. So yeah, I have a team of 13 people that basically, as of today, I've actually forced myself to step outside of business.
Good.
I made sure that it was fully automated. So I have all the systems in place for property management, messaging, revenue management, even ACH payments to investors and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a matter of rinsing and repeating at this point. So.
I love it. I love it. So if you're looking to get in the Airbnb game, hit up Juan Carlos. This is a great way that you can go about structuring.
Love that.
And hit me up if you guys have any questions about this. We talk about this stuff on a regular basis in Legacy Family, which is our mastermind. Juan Carlos is a member. We got about 150 members in there right now, and we host events 3 times a year. And me or my chief investment officer, Fadi Boumitri, is talking about deal structure, raising private money, all this kind of stuff on a weekly basis. Every Wednesday, I think Fadi's on a phone call answering questions about this stuff and giving insights and intel on how to raise money, how to structure it properly, how to stay inside the lines legally, on all this kind of jazz. So if raising private money is a bottleneck for you, this is what you got to get. This is what you have to learn and then implement it.
And if you're looking to get started in real estate, I want to say that you can learn from YouTube all you want. I've done it. You can implement it. It works. But if you really want to get to the next level, you got to go and meet people. There's no other way. And for me, when I joined Legacy Family, it was a big deal. I was like, wow, I'm spending like $1,000 a month. And then I was like, well, I'm not really gonna spend it. I'm investing it,
Yep.
right? And then all of a sudden, like, I feel like the year paid for itself just on the very first convention. Don't tell the guy that's organizing it, but we think it's a very good value. But don't let him know. But yeah, it's not a promotion. It's just that the true thing that I found is that if you really want to learn, you gotta do this. You gotta sit with them something. Hey, bro, how can I help you? Teach me, and I'll help you, and let's do it. So.
Well, dude, I mean, how many of these deals a year do you have to do with a $10,000 acquisition fee in order to pay for that mastermind? You do 2 deals a year, 1.5 deals, it pays for the whole mastermind for the entire year, So it's like, you got insights from us sitting down, and you're gonna go do this once a week, you know what I mean? Like, think about how that's gonna set you up.
Joining Legacy Family, when I look in the back 5 years from now, will be the single best decision I've ever done in my life. No questions asked, because of the resources that I have, and the people, and how it's been structured in a way where people are supposed to give value first in order first to ask. And it's amazing. So.
I love it. Go do some deals, and then join the fam.
Join it, baby.